Recently, members of Greenpeace staged a rather unruly environmental protest. Shane Jones, the Minister of Environmental Destruction, took issue with this. He called Greenpeace blood-sucking vermin. Yes, you heard that correctly. He called protesters blood-sucking vermin. This is New Zealand, not Nazi Germany. Politicians should never use such rhetoric to describe protesters. Calling people parasites and vermin. This is dehumanization in its purest form. This kind of rhetoric has one purpose: to deprive a group of their humanity and ease violence against them. That is why the Nazis used this exact kind of rhetoric against the Jews. They called them vermin and parasites. They deprived them of their humanity and suggested their extermination. That is the purpose of such rhetoric, to lay the groundwork for violence. Do I think Shane Jones is planning to start murdering protesters? Probably not, but I do think this rhetoric is dangerous, deranged, and incredibly irresponsible. He is a high-ranking cabinet minister. The people who govern the country should not be dehumanizing protesters. That is unacceptable and inexcusable. You deprive a people of their humanity and equate them with something that should be exterminated. That facilitates violence. The purpose of dehumanization is to facilitate violence. And it only takes one overly fanatical Shane Jones supporter to make that violence a reality. Shane Jones needs to learn some discipline. He needs to learn some self-control. He needs to stop spewing out morally heinous stupidity every time he speaks. I have a message for Shane Jones. Dehumanization being part of mainstream political discourse is not in your best interest. Some may say that it is unwise for a man who resembles a bloated tick in both appearance and behaviour to normalise this kind of rhetoric. Be very careful what kind of rhetoric you normalise. If you want to speak about blood-sucking vermin, fine. What do you call a man who takes big money donations from the industry he is supposed to regulate and then starts rolling back regulations so that said industry can rape the seas? What do you call a man who rolls around in taxpayer-funded privileges like a pig in mud, all while shamelessly serving his big money donors? What do you call a man who plans on letting foreign companies plunder New Zealand's natural resources, walk away with huge profits, and then leave us with the mess to clean up? What do you call a man who once used taxpayer money to fund his access to pornography? Is this not parasitic? Is that not reminiscent of vermin? Again, be careful what kind of rhetoric you normalise. Some people, you see, are more easily dehumanised than others. Some may call me a hypocrite for denouncing dehumanisation and then proceeding to dehumanise Jones. I am only dehumanising Jones to show what happens if he makes dehumanisation part of mainstream discourse. Glass houses and all that. Also, the expectation for random nobodies like me are not the same as the expectations for the people who govern the country. Powerful politicians should never dehumanise protesters. The word of a politician is much more powerful than that of a nobody, so it must be held to much higher standards. I noticed that ACT was also outraged by the protest. They claimed that Greenpeace were thugs. They feign moral outrage over an unruly protest. Yet they support Israel as it murders countless children, brutally rapes prisoners, and conducts overt ethnic cleansing in Gaza. They support this depravity only to turn around and clutch their pearls at the sight of an unruly protest. Give us a break. It is pathetic, stupid, and disgusting.